On 19th of May, Amazon Prime releases a trailer of Family Man Season 2 on its YouTube channel. The show got immensely popular for its first part, and Manoj Bajpayee is seen playing the lead role. The makers believe that The Family Man Season 1 was the most watched Amazon original series in India, and we can get to know this by the fact that it started trending on YouTube the moment it was released. Namaste Bharat. The most awaited and most popular Family Man 2 was released on its OTT platform yesterday. But its trailer was trending on another platform, that is Twitter. Hashtag Family Man 2 against Tamils was trending on Twitter. Some even hinted at deleting their Amazon Prime account. Some have asked for clarification from the Tamil actress Samantha Akkineni. The cause of the controversy is that the villains in the series are allegedly Tamil speaking terrorists. Whenever a Tamil militant or an armed group is mentioned, only one popular name comes into mind, that is the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, or LTTE. This armed group wanted to establish an independent country for Tamils in Sri Lanka. It is the same armed group that assassinated Rajiv Gandhi.
Rajiv Gandhi has been killed in a massive bomb blast.
The world's largest democracy under threat after the assassination of India's Rajiv Gandhi. India is in chaos tonight. Former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi assassinated, its election suspended, troops and violence on the streets.
Today's discussion is not about this OTT show or its cast or something, but we need to find out the reason for the Tamil aggression against this show, and we need to understand the complexity of Sri Lanka and also the role of LTTE in Sri Lankan history.
Her flag is the flag of freedom. Her citizens dedicated to the preservation of that freedom.
जिस हिंसा के पैरोकार प्रभाकरन थे, उसका अंदाजा श्रीलंका के बाहर के लोगों के लिए लगा पाना मुश्किल है.
India dominated the headlines in the world this week with the assassination of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi.
Late today, Sri Lankan special forces reportedly ambushed and killed the leader of the Tamil Tigers.
Strange and primitive, this spectacle out of a dark and mystic past. Another fascinating page in the story.
For centuries, Sri Lanka comprised small kingdoms. This changed in the early 16th century when Portuguese established their dominance on the island, except for the Kingdom of Kandy. To get rid of Portuguese, the Kingdom of Kandy took help of the Dutch. Eventually, one colonial power replaced another, and then our good old friend, Britishers, arrived. Defeated the Dutch and took control over Sri Lanka. At this time, the population of Ceylon, which was earlier name of Sri Lanka, comprised of over 3 million Sinhalese who were mainly Buddhists, and about 300,000 Tamils who were mainly Hindus. But this population was about to change. The reason is
Ceylon has long been renowned for its tea, and the great tea estates or plantations make a green garden of the rolling hills. Here again, Tamil Indian girls do the picking, selecting only the small, tender leaves at the top of the.
the British brought in around 1 million Tamils from India to work as labourers. Initially, they were forced to work on the coffee plantation, but when the coffee got wiped out due to a disease, they were made to work on tea plantation. The industry had become a huge profit business for the British. This flourishing industry now demanded permanent labourers. Thus, the workers had to settle down permanently. The increase in Tamil population started creating divide between the Sinhalese, and the British preferred the Tamils over Sinhalese for the post of civil service position, especially the ones from the Jaffna region. This was due to two reasons. The British were very familiar with the Tamils. They had a great equation. After all, ours was very old colony of the British government. Sri Lanka was plagued with slavery before the arrival of British. Britishers wanted to abolish the slavery system in Sri Lanka to end the dominance of other colonial masters, and not that they cared for Sri Lankans. And many Sri Lankans worked for the tobacco industry. When the slavery was abolished, the tobacco industry also flopped. Thus, only the Jaffna preferred studying over farming because that was more productive, and that's what they did. This was popular through the fact that the American missionaries who wanted to convert Tamils into Christianities helped them. They had set up several English language schools in Jaffna. Hence, the Jaffna were the most literate in the 19th century Sri Lanka. This, the Britishers considered the Tamils as a very modern and ethnic group and considered the Sinhalese as backward classes. Moreover, Britishers started supporting Christianity and suppressing Buddhism, a religion that the Sinhalese followed. That was followed by the Sinhalese. During this time, there was no violence or fights between the Sinhalese and Tamils, but this reign of tensions was building up and the time had come to be unleashed.
On a goodwill visit to Ceylon, the cruiser Norfolk joins in the Crown Colony's independence celebrations. Like its harbour, Colombo streets are dressed up to mark this great day.
The then leaders had announced that both the languages would get equal rights in the constitution. These responded with protests because they had believed the fact that the Sinhalese or the Buddhists had been suppressed for years, and now that Sri Lanka had become an independent country, it's time that the Sinhalese and the Buddhists got prioritized in the constitution. In 1956, when another Prime Minister was sworn in, he declared the official Sinhala Act, through which Sinhala had become the only official language of Sri Lanka. Because Sinhalese believed that if their language wasn't given importance or prioritized in the constitution, their language, their culture, their race, their ethnicity would vanish over time. And for Sinhalese, Sri Lanka was the only nation, but that was not for the case of Tamils. Many Tamilians are only a few kilometers away from Sri Lanka. This led to the formation of a militant group, LTTE, in the northern Sri Lankan region. LTTE was formed by the Tamil youths to have a separate country for themselves, and they named this country, dream country, as Elam. Once LTTE was formed, the Sri Lankan government retaliated with a act that was known as the Prevention of Terrorism Act. Through this act, Sri Lankan government could arrest anyone and everyone without any court trial. This gave them enormous powers. In 1980s, violence escalated in Sri Lanka. And whenever LTTE asked for something in the Sri Lankan government, to the Sri Lankan government, they retaliated or they showed aggression in return, and violence went over next level, and this cycle continued. In the year 1983, the incident is also called as Black July by Tamils. Once 13 soldiers were killed by LTTE, mass violence erupted against Tamils with the participation of common people. Thousands of Tamils were killed, their shops were demolished and burnt, and some even vanished without a trace. Indians started wishing for an independent country for their safety. Never remained a militant group altogether. They started running a parallel government. They started setting up schools, they started setting up hospitals, and it was all a parallel government that was running altogether, and they were no good persons in general. But they also forced many youths to come over to their land, and they in fact took money from the parents who were not willing to send their children to this militant group. The government had to assure to its local Tamils that they were standing with this Tamilians of Sri Lanka, and hence when two LTTE militants were arrested in Madras and Sri Lanka claimed for their custody, they didn't send them to the Sri Lankan government or hand over them to the Sri Lankan government. Secondly, many training camps were set up in India for the LTTE. If India started supporting this motive of the Sri Lankan Tamils in general, then the Sikhs of Punjab and the Nagas of Nagaland also would get a kind of enthusiasm to protest and demand for a country for themselves. So a country on linguistic division wouldn't be an amicable choice for the Indian government right now. So India's objective here remained simple, that they wanted to give enough support to the LTTE, but made sure that they didn't compel Sri Lanka to give a new country altogether for the Sri Lankan Tamilians. Helping LTTE, Sri Lankan government now became uneasy. They started seeking help from Pakistan, China or US, and this angered Indians as they didn't want any other superpower or some other influence in their subcontinent region. Henceforth, until now, their support to LTTE, which was a secret, now became an open one because of that one incident in 1987. 1987, Sri Lankan government launched Operation Liberation to capture Vadamarachi, that was the main base of LTTE. India launched Operation Garland in response, sending 20 boats with food and water, but stopped by Sri Lankan Navy. Hence, they sent a cargo flight with fighter jets and dropped the cargo and returned. India and Sri Lanka had an agreement wherein India had to send in forces to Jaffna to establish a ceasefire. In 1991, Rajiv Gandhi attended an election rally in Sri Perumbudur in Tamil Nadu. Rajiv Gandhi was making his way through the crowd. Among the crowd, there was a woman wearing an orange salwar kameez who wanted to give a garland to Rajiv Gandhi. When Rajiv Gandhi reached her, a policewoman tried to push the woman, but Rajiv Gandhi said everyone should get a chance to meet him. The woman put on the garland and bent to touch his feet. When she bent, she triggered a suicide vest hidden underneath her salwar kameez. This killed Rajiv Gandhi and several others. After the incident, India refused to influence over Sri Lanka. This didn't bring peace to Sri Lanka. The LTTE still kept perpetuating the violence, and they planned to annex or assassinate 2 Sri Lankan presidents, and they were able to succeed killing one of them. Finally, in the year 2009, the civil war ended as the Sri Lankan army took control over the northern Sri Lankan and defeated LTTE and killed its leader, Prabhakaran. Once India was supporting the LTTE and now it is supplying military equipment to Sri Lanka. Civil war was ended. Many instances of human rights violence had been shown up by the Sri Lankan army to win the war. Several incidents included rape, torture of children, killing of even Prabhakar's 12-year-old son. Unfortunately, the Sri Lankan government has still not taken the responsibility of the kind of miscreant activities that it had committed. And UN, according to UN, the kind of discrimination the Sri Lankan Tamils are facing is still persistent on the land, and still the Sri Lankan military is on watch of the Tamil areas, and the Tamilians living there in Sri Lanka are still under fear of arrest, of torture, of any sort of violence, and they might even suddenly get disappeared and no one would know. This is the plight of Sri Lankan Tamils. And if the Indian government stance is a neutral one or neutral perspective, the Indian Tamils have still not forgotten this incident. And the recent example of criticizing just the trailer even before watching it shows that how this issue is still kept alive. Until the Sri Lankan government shows accountability, this civil war cannot be removed from the deep roots. Having said that, this brings us an end to this discussion. Hope you found it informative. With folded hands, much respect and reverence, I'd like to thank. This is Gagan signing off, and thank you so much.